You heard me say that I can't go skiing with Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah. So where's Andrew going skiing? Now we need a tailgate.
I want
Alta,
to go skiing. Where are you going?
Snowbird, Alta, Alta, Utah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do it. Chip, talk to us.
Wins of the week. I actually asked Ben if he had any wins of the week from MSA, and I asked him to create a new segment. And I'm putting him on the spot because I did this like 20 minutes before the call. Um, and he responded to me and said, "Well, it's just kind of routine stuff. It's all the same things that we always caught. And right now, it mostly seems to be mailbox rules and other stuff that people are getting into." Um, and the other win of the week for me with Ben is CISA is holding a webinar tomorrow that's specifically around token authentication tokens and new standards that NIST is going to put out for security on that. And Ben, fortunately, is going to be able to attend that because I can't. But Ben, did you actually throw together the December stats for what MSA caught in its tightly managed web?
I have not yet. I was working on that. I got pulled into a security incident for that Rocket Cyber is running into with one of their clients, and so I got sucked into that one. But I will work on getting you that, and we can make it a regular thing if you want. I can also pull the I can pull MSA and say it's in.
Yeah, that'd be great. So there's the win of the week, Andrew. We're gonna have a news segment once a month where Ben's gonna start laying down some stats on what we're catching and tracking trends.
That's awesome. Let's start this week, Ben.
Okay. I need some help with Autotask's reporting system.
That'll be next week.
Oh man.
Do it at Right a
Well,
Boom.
So do we have any partner wins of the week? I'm
yeah.
not following chat, so I'm hoping that there's some folks out there that have some good
No,
news, bad news, new clients just you snagged. What's going on, fellas?
yeah. Did you start a Patreon channel? Anything fun, you know? I'd pay to watch Gary.
I have the loss of a week, losing my first client.
No.
Oh,
Was it okay though? Like in hindsight or how did
Yeah. Remember that law firm from last year, Andrew?
yeah.
When you got okay, so uh, the partners apparently had a terrible falling out, kick you out of the office, a whole bunch of shit hitting the fan and stuff. So I came in through the partner that got kicked out. And so the other partners like brought in some other people. We're still there. And I told them we have a contract till August. I mean, you want to leave tomorrow, that's fine. Just pay it out. And we've been in talks with them and supporting them because the one that left has a domain. So it's a shit show every which way. But yeah, so let's try to hang on for dear life, but not much I can do on that one.
Sounds
well,
pretty
it opens up room for you to get a better customer, Enrique.
Yeah.
good
I'm
way to
still trying to keep some tools in there. So you know me.
yeah. Sounds like
Sometimes it's not worth it.
yeah.
Sometimes you're better off just letting it go. And
Well, they're
as people
co-managed.
replace it.
So
Well, then that's a different story.
yeah,
Sounds like there's quite a few tools already there. I don't know why you know.
there is. But I want to keep SAS alerts in there. So
That was sorry for that was a play on words, but anyway,
that's
moving
okay.
on. Other
You know what,
other
Andrew? I didn't get it until you said it.
Yeah.
That's how slow I am right now.
all right. Other wins. Eric, you're not on the boat. Is that a win or not, or is that not a win?
Anytime I'm not on the boat, it's not a win.
Okay.
By definition.
But looking forward to Vegas for sure.
Yeah. Were you in Orlando for Pure?
No, they're still in there, but we skipped it this quarter.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Too close to Vegas. And
Got
I hope you like my new favorite hat here. I'm here because you clicked on something.
What is it?
I'm here because you clicked on something.
Hold on. Let me, there you go.
Click the link.
That's awesome. You see it, Chip?
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I get one? Did you trademark that?
I'll send you a link where I found it, where I got it.
Oh my God, that's great. I
I'll
actually think I should
post it in
give
the
that to
chat.
my.
I would
Yeah,
love
but
that.
when you click on that link, he's going to show up because you clicked on the link. So,
Yeah, it's Eric Monroe's recursive marketing.
Yeah. It's actually a vendor's hat, so I can't take credit for it, but it's still pretty fun.
That's
That's
great. I
pretty
got to give
cool.
one to my neighbor. She called me. She texted me yesterday. And I've talked about this neighbor before in here, guys. If for anyone that's a long-standing Sassy call, she seems to always get herself run down a rabbit hole. So she sends me a text and says, "Do I have Windows Defender on my Chromebook? I have a pop-up that's telling me to call a number because my Defender is throwing an alert."
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, geez. And I'm texting back in capital letters, no, 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 do not call. So, so that would
Chip,
be a useful hat.
Did you ask her then what site she's been visiting,
I
Chip?
didn't. I just said, you know what? Close all your tabs, shut down your Chromebook, come back 15 minutes later, and when it asks you to open new tabs, tell it no. And that worked, of course. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I got one for Chip because this week I have losses, all losses. Got into Breck last night, busted pipe, water pipe, because I had a heater zone failure. So, but my third loss of the week is yesterday I got notified of a new Kaseya rep. He wasn't fired, just reshuffled. Why? I don't work well with new people. Why are y'all doing all this reshuffling?
Yeah, that one's way out. I wouldn't say above my pay grade, but it's way outside the scope of decisions that I get involved in. I mean, I know we we've made a significant effort to realign the sales org. 'Cause, it's no secret that Kaseya let a lot of the sales org go. I say it's no secret because it's been all over Reddit and
Yeah.
people were jabbering about it. Look, I think it's a necessary maturation and realignment in terms of how companies go to market. I mean, you don't need massive sales organizations anymore when you can implement more and more self-service in terms of people acquiring stuff. You certainly need someone to call, but reducing headcount so that we can focus more dollars on security and product development is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, mine wasn't. He wasn't let go. He was just given the northeast region instead of the
Oh,
whatever
yep,
region I'm in.
yeah, territory
So do I
realignment.
have to move my corporate office to his territory?
No, I don't think so, Enrique. But you do
I
have a
don't work
mobile
well with
corporate
new people.
office.
I do. So do I have to register wherever he's at? I don't
No,
like
I don't.
changes.
I don't think so. I think you're good.
Well, I don't like my new dude, so I'm not. I
All
don't
right. Well,
dislike him. I just don't
set,
know him.
How
give
did
him to, give him a month, and then send me the details, and I'll if I'll see what I can do to get you reshuffled.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's
holy
the opposite.
whiner?
Huh?
I said holy whiner this morning. I lost mine too. I miss her. I'm just gonna go visit her on the side.
I never had her, but I miss her too.
Next.
Okay. Do we have any wins? We've started off the day with bad luck Schlepperock here. So Tina, you fire anybody? I see it. Your smoke coming out of your ears.
No. Trying to think of what happened in the past week. I just can't remember anything. I don't know. Nothing to
Sajid, did you
report.
have a quick one? Did I see that flash by in the chat?
Yeah. Oh, I realized I never turned my camera on. Yeah, so we started the migration, the automated migration from Graphis to Inky with that built-in tool, and it's gone off really well. Um, we were originally phasing Inky out, obviously, until you guys bought them, and then I was like, woo! So I took the last few weeks of December to go through all those Inky webinars you guys had to refresh myself on everything. And we've actually been going back to customers now that we have Inky back in place and kind of giving them that proof of ROI because the Inky reports and everything, I mean, they're just a world of difference. It's one of the reasons I love that platform. The data is very customer friendly. So we've been able to cut down a lot on noise. I've automated a lot of quarantining and stuff. So we've seen a lot of our tickets that we had kind of growing from Graphis just kind of disappear altogether. And I've been kind of been able to bring that ROI internally as well and just kind of show our team how much less time we're having to spend with Inky for customers, compared to what we were doing before. So it's been a really nice start to the year.
That's awesome. Are you using Inky as standalone or part of K365 user?
Part of K365 user. So we use it as a spam filter as well for a lot of our customers. So the way I always sell Inky to people is that you want to report to Inky emails that you want to see. So meaning things that are getting flagged as spam, high confidence spam, any spam settings. If that's an email from a vendor you expect, like your American Express or your newsletter or whatever business vendor you associate with, we have customers report those. We update those banners to neutral so they don't get banner fatigue. And then they're seeing yellow banners and such when they're expecting to see them. And we have any red banners automatically quarantined. So users never deal with them from the get-go. So it's been really nice, like cutting down on noise a lot. And we use the Inky delivery settings to route high confidence spam to junk folder. So a lot of customers that come back and be like, I don't know what you guys did, but I'm able to actually work and not have to deal with like 30 new spam emails all the time. And the burst detection, actually, we had a really good win with that. We had a customer, I forget what this type of attack is, but he was just getting inundated with like hundreds and hundreds of emails by the hour for all these things he never in his life signed up for. And burst detection picked it up, automatically routed everything to his junk folder. And he was none the wiser and able to enjoy his day while that burst eventually cooled off. And we were able to put some blocks on the back end to kind of cut it off altogether. So I love Inky. I'm pro Inky everywhere I go.
So is that a universal solution for you guys across all the entire customer base? Or do you?
Yes, because we were using Viper before for spam filtering as well as SMTP routing, but we're able to now slowly phase that out. And as we move to Datto EDR for DNS protection, we'll be able to get rid of Umbrella, which I hopefully should be done before summer this year. Though I said that last year too. And then I think there's a few other. We're actually going to get rid of Demartian, which was our DMARC management platform, because Inky already has that included. And we're getting rid of Code 2 because Inky does signature management. We've already switched to that internally, and it works beautifully without the extra headaches.
You're cleaning house.
Yeah, that's I'm the power washer guy internally. I hate all these half-ass solutions, so
I
it's
take
the
the
one
opposite
job I
approach with
enjoy.
Inky.
Oh yeah,
Instead of unsubscribing to stuff, I just click on the banner. Now they simplified the banner. There used to be more steps. That's
yes,
configurable. So now it's simplified, so that's a lot better, really quick. But I'll completely block a domain if I'm getting emails. So I just put it on
yep,
the ban list.
yeah. But what I like about Inky, and I don't have to sidetrack too much here, but compared to not even just Graphis or like Avanon or even Viper, however Inky has their detection set up, it's very, very good at filtering out like high confidence spam from the non-spam and then from what is regular spam. So we're able to use the delivery settings like almost instantaneously when we roll it out to show customers right away that you get a reduction in noise, like a very solid reduction in noise. Because now all of a sudden, someone in accounting who got 100 emails an hour before from all these newsletters and crap that they don't want to deal with, it now goes right to junk. They never have to interface with it. We can do blocks on the Inky side in bulk at our own schedule. And then customers can focus on the work they actually want to do, interacting with the emails they actually want to spend time with. So it's a product that gives a lot of benefits from different angles.
Yeah, that's a great testimonial, Sajid. I don't know what else to call it. I'm glad you guys are using it. I love that team. I've gotten to know the guys that built Inky very, very well. And the migration tool that they built between Inky and Graphis, like the speed with which they did that
Oh yeah.
and how well executed it is. Everyone that I've talked to says it works, better than they would have expected. They're an impressive team. They really are.
Yeah, Matthew Swiluck over there. We worked with them when they first started up ages ago. So they're a really, really good team of people. I've gotten to know a lot of their engineers and support people over time, and that's an A+ group of dudes and ladies, I'm sure.
100%. Okay, more wins.
I tell you, the Inky acquisition seems like the hottest, like incredible, the excitement over it, Chip.
Yeah, well, I can't take any credit for that. That's mostly I think well, pretty sure that Jim drove that from the start. I got pulled in at the tail end for the technical due diligence, but yeah, I agree. It was a great move.
Do you think, can I just ask you a question and maybe other folks here? Chip, we've talked a lot about uh, the oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the what NetArcs does. What's the cyber deception tools?
Yep, yep.
So I read this today. Let me just share my screen. I'd like everybody's and your first yours, Chip. But is this the beginning of potentially Microsoft entering this? Um, so, to me, it's like, even though they didn't say that, they're going to start doing, looking for, you know, um, deception, that's not called, gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the
It's
term.
called deep fake, is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, yeah, there's a categorical term that Gartner, gosh, I'm sorry, guys and gals. Anyway, but the deep fake technologies, it'll come to me. But do you think this is the beginning of Microsoft entering this market?
100%. The way I'm reading, I mean, I hadn't seen this article, but just scanning it real quick, this this looks a lot like what NetArcs is doing. I mean, there's all kinds of different scam detection and deepfake detection products out there. You and I have talked about this before, Andrew, that we've looked at a couple of different solutions in this realm.
Hmm.
Uh, I I think it's going to become a whole lot more important. Didn't I make a prediction on the cyber call that this is going to be like the next big space for 2026?
Yeah,
Three,
he did.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it just, to me, it made sense with, Microsoft owning the ID that they would probably go down this route without either acquisition or just embedding it like they typically do. Microsoft, whether it was back in the day when Citrix with WinFrame and WinView owned the market, quote unquote, it just took Microsoft a little bit of time, right, to come into that market. And it seems like they're starting to work their way into this one as well.
Yeah, the I find the term brand impersonation protection confusing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
But
it seems like it's aimed at the same use case of identifying people who are representing themselves in a meeting as somebody that they're not, and
yeah,
even going so far as to use active AI deepfake, like we've seen in NetArc's demos, how that product works.
yeah. I definitely, I'm losing my mind because I can't think of the term Gartner uses for it. But anyway, I just thought as we were talking about phishing and all the things, I got some cool articles today to talk about, but I bet it just made me think of that. So, any other wins before we kind of jump in here?
All right, I guess we're jumping in.
Jumping in. Okay, let me share my screen. Actually, Chip, let's roll the dice here and go full desktop as because I want to show some URLs at times too. We did partner wins. As we know, this is packed. Very excited. I wanted to show this fish of the week, Chip, because I thought it was really I thought it was really well done. Um, and again, it's interesting how, like, the lady that texted you, your friend, call me, call us.
Hmm.
There, there's definitely this classification of phishing that's trying to, get social engineering through the phone, which typically leads to some type of remote control, right? And not that whole ruse, but it's interesting the different types of, you know, phishing kits out there that are doing this, which is part of what I'm going to get into. So, but yeah, very clean, very got right through spam.
Wow. Wonder if Inky would have caught it. This was to your personal email or to your
Personal.
Reddit Boom
Yeah,
email.
yeah, personal.
So you bought $400 worth of Bitcoin?
Isn't that's the part that kind of makes it a little bit, giveaway, like, it's kind of a, but
Yeah.
it just
The other thing that gives it away is there's no transaction fee.
yeah, yeah.
Nobody's going to sell you no one's going to sell you anything for a zero.
Like kind of like, I'm so confused, man.
Someone hit the pause button on the recording.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, so again, this is another phishing scam, phishing as a service, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk a little bit about it. But it did make me think about how we as MSPs communicate to our clients about the ways and the only ways in which it's really us and the mechanisms that are in place. Let me just run through this with you, and then maybe I think that's a point of just conversation, Chip. Like, you know, it's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good phishing scheme, right? They're telling them there's a maintenance window. Um, they're giving them warnings that this is for their own benefit of backing up their LastPass. So, for the unsuspecting user, it's certainly not a bad ploy, right? Um, Things we talked a lot about, Chip. We got some typo squatting here. And again, for the unsuspecting user, they came up with some, I think, some very nice, shouldn't say nice, very compelling subjects. Um, and they even go on to say it actually mirrors a lot of how, LastPass communicates. They don't communicate to this degree, but their structure of their email, right? That's what they're suggesting. Um, and that they would back things up to their local vault, et cetera, in this maintenance window. So again, I'm thinking, again, analogy, MSPs. Maybe it's patching. Maybe it's, hey, keep your systems on tonight. Do this, do that. Is it really you? And how do they know it's really you? Well-crafted email. If Ron was on, I would love his take, but I'm sure, again, they're, using one of the uh, AI tools, Chip, to mirror specifically how LastPass looks and feels. And then, of course, the create backup now is the beginning of, obviously,
Credentials,
the
credential
credential.
harvesting.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And then lastly, the conclusion is LastPass also talked about that it was done during a holiday weekend, most recently with Martin Luther King Day. Um, and that they've been frequently targeted as kind of because again of the large scale customer base, right, type of thing. So yeah, I wanted to just pause for a minute, Chip, and kind of open this up for discussion because, like, how do your customers know, right? Do you have a really good SOP that this is the only way we communicate with you about backups, maintenance windows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? knowing that this is what a threat actor takes advantage of, potentially impersonating you all someday. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's an ongoing problem and question, and I don't think there's an easy solution for everybody to implement. I know we've had to handle this recently with SAS Alerts. Um, we had to email a bunch of customers about billing changes and other things, and we proactively made a decision that if we would follow up with a phone call specifically to let people know that, the email they got was from us. Because you can't send an email that says, okay, in a couple days you're going to get an email, it's us. Like you kind of wind up down this chain of how do you validate this? So this is mostly to do on our accounts receivable side. So we had the two people that manage AR for us individually manage all the phone calls under the presumption that the people that they're calling are typically going to know them.
Hmm.
And we're going to have to go through the same thing on the AP side as well as we're making some changes. We're gonna have to do the same thing. So it's interesting you bring it up as a topic because I actually don't have the perfect answer for this. I mean, there's the challenge and response thing. Like, you and I, Andrew, could set something up where we're like, all right, well, anytime I'm getting a text from you, Andrew, I expect it to start with a keyword.
Mm.
You can do that, but that becomes pretty unmanageable at scale across many different vendors and many different customers. Because you can't share one. Sujit's not going to go to all his customers and say, I'm going to start every conversation with Alpine One, so that it's me. Because then everybody has the same keyword. Like it's a thorny problem.
Yeah. 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 Anyway, anyone have thoughts on this? Have they thought about it? Have they, we certainly have now things like authentication, like whether it's Duo or something, there's tools out there that are, the help desk is the help desk and authentication that way. But I could see, maintenance windows and updates and patching and things of that nature, right, Chip? That I
We
could I could see a threat actor impersonating an MSP, right? Easily if they got a hold of their customer list. So
I'm
go
sure
ahead,
it's
Chip.
happened.
Yeah, sure. Go
So
ahead,
2 years
Enrique.
ago, we had a customer that their domain got spoofed. SAS Alerts picked up, but they were just reporting. They didn't want us because it was too invasive. And we talked about it 2 years ago. So when they register a similar domain as theirs, we told them the only way you're going to prevent this, because now they have a domain, they're going to start attacking your customer. They already have all your financial data. I go, our recommendation is your or wherever you send your statements and invoices from, it's an automated system. You could do something like on the subject. I personally use, whether it's Inky or Avanon, I use /e for encryption. Anytime I put a /e in front of the subject, when it starts with that, it automatically goes out as a secure message. So I told him, you're going to have to do something drastic like that, where you're changing the way you deliver your statements and invoices to a secure methodology. I go, and it's not going to cost you any trouble because you're just going to modify your template in your CRM or your ERP, and you're going to tell it start with a /e or whatever variable you want to use, and now it's going to be sent as a secure message. So now you could differentiate yourself from the bad actors that have your similar domain registered and are going to start attacking your customers. You're going to have a secure message. They're going to be just sending a traditional message. Can they mimic it? Yes, they can, but it gets more complicated.
Yeah, but what's the experience like that, Enrique, on the other side for your customer? Like,
super
so
super simple. It's like you can there's three, four, five different tools for encryption. Inky, you could use it to authenticate with Entra or with Google. You could use it to send an SMS, 6-digit code via email. There's Bracket, which is patented that they don't have to use anything. They have some algorithm, so you just click on the email, opens automatically. So it's a very simple. It's not like when your bank sends you a secure message that you have to go and register and do 25 steps to be able to read an email that says sign your documents.
yeah, but that step that you mentioned in there that they can go authenticate with Microsoft or Google flows right back into what we try to train people not to do when they get an email message and they click on something and now they're asked to authenticate. So, and I'm not saying I'm not punching holes in the idea of the solution. I'm just saying that there's a lot of threads that run together that we have to train our customers about in terms of when they're receiving this. And the number one most important thing is this is really hard to train people, but I do it all the time. I bet you guys do. I go and look at message details constantly to see how things have been routed through a system to look for DMARC verification, that kind of stuff. So even if it looks like it's coming from Enrique, because your email address can be spoofed in the sender line very easily. So unless they go in and actually look at details, how do they know? It's just a challenging piece.
Well, like with Bracket, you don't have to do anything. You just click. We have a couple of title companies on Bracket. That was one of the simplicities we like. They don't have to go through the authentication process. You
Yep.
can add the extra layer, but you just get the email, you click on it, and it takes you to the secure portal.
Yep.
So
Yeah, good
just food
solution.
for thought. You have to change the way you operate when you come down to these type of scenarios where you're being attacked.
I'm curious from the crew, did anyone get any of these LastPass? Does anybody use LastPass on the call? I guess we should start off from that. So suggested, and has anyone seen that this just campaign just started on the 19th, if I remember the article, Andrew?
Yeah, just recently checked.
Um, and I love the way, by the way, in your second screenshot there at the bottom, they had our security commitment to you with the 256 AES encryption, and there was something else that they put on there that, it was it was well crafted and clever.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody use LastPass? We use LastPass, but we joined. Bear with me.
We've been using LastPass for years. It's fine.
I do it personally.
Yeah,
Jenny,
we use it.
any
Um,
get emails?
Yeah, we got a handful through Inky, but they're already flagged. I think I saw this post yesterday, or the day before, and it got me curious, but it's already been flagged.
That's
The,
that's
the
awesome.
the previous point, I mean, what we tend to do for a lot of our certain emails that we send out to customers, like our accounts payable or our support desk, with Inky at the master template, you can set certain allow list entries. So we have all those emails always set to neutral for any customer that ends up in there. So when a customer sees that, it's always a gray banner versus anything that's trying to mimic, spoof, whatever. Inky's very, very good. I mean, I'd say 99% plus at picking up that that's something different, and it will add a banner to those. And we've seen customers spot that before, report it and say, hey, I only noticed this because the banner was yellow and you guys normally send me stuff, it's always gray. So we found some minor workarounds along with kind of what Enrique mentioned using encryption and such with 365.
Hmm. Thanks for sharing that, Sujit. Tina, you use it. Did you get anything? No. Okay.
Tina's on mute, but she doesn't know it.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
know that I was on mute. I only required a yes or no, so I stayed on mute. I use it personally, but no, I haven't received anything.
Okay. You may not have been in the whatever credential harvesting and that was sold. Maybe it was a business listing, and that's why Alpine and Sujit was in it versus individual. Who knows, right? Because it's a whole ecosystem. This it leading further into our typical topic of phishing. I thought this was a kind of a well done article. It was more of somewhat of an infomercial, but it was still done very well by Flair. And they did, obviously a lot of dark web research on phishing as a service. And I wanted to start off by just showing just how sophisticated the ecosystem has gotten now, where, they're literally holding master classes. Chip. I shouldn't laugh. It makes me laugh because just how well structured of an ecosystem this is. It's frightening. Um, you know,
Yeah, but this masterclass is, for white hats. It's just research purposes, right?
no, this is yeah, for of course.
I mean, Ben might be teaching this masterclass.
Yeah. Ben, you should do this on your channel. Start the Patreon.
I put in chat that Cuba's class is expensive. I've seen a bunch of these kind of pop up that are a little bit less expensive. But I don't know if you saw the news, but they're releasing a new version of Evil Jinx this year.
Oh, are they?
With all the stuff that they've been doing with the professional version, they're going to be putting in the community edition and rolling that out because the community edition hasn't been updated in over a year and it still works, but they're adding some improvements to it, so it should be fun.
Yeah, so is it how much irony is it that we're talking about a a training tool for the white hat community that in reality is used heavily by hackers, and we have a community edition and an enterprise tool. Bye, Eric.
Eric's got one. See Eric.
So I guess your overall point here, Andrew, is we've always talked about the fact that our adversaries are themselves a business community, and this is just one more example.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's amazing. Again, it amazes me just how, and I'm going to show you guys just like from this underground work that Flare did, just how sophisticated we always knew it's sophisticated. You always knew there's an entire ecosystem um, for threat actors. Each play a role, whether it's initial access, as we've talked about, credential harvesting, blah blah blah. But where again, Chip, go back to kudos to you and the thesis of identity. Um, you can really see I think the shift of threat actors, like there's so much more activity on identity, right, than endpoint. It's just staggering, right? There was that, for a while there where, everything was around endpoint from like that 2016 to kind of the right to the COVID era. You had to have, the latest EDR with ML and AI and blah, 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 right? And we've really like completely shifted from a defender's perspective based on what where the spend is. I mean, just think about just in the last few years, even in the MSP ecosystem, the number of companies that have popped up, right? Everything from, really starting off with SaaS Alerts and Enforcer and SIP, and we could probably go on and on and on there's a, how many, right, are now on the defensive side around the identity. Um, so I thought it was worth talking about just how much this ecosystem has grown, both on both sides.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the local identity is no longer exclusive, especially if you're in Microsoft world, where you're logging in with hello, you're logging in with a cloud credential. So now even for SaaS alerts, now we're able to pick up a lot of device activity, which wasn't our original thesis, but we thought it was only cloud identity that was going to be necessary. Um, but now they've just kind of merged into the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So it all rolls together. And that makes it easier for, the phishing community. I love the phrase here. It's evolved into a mature service economy. I mean, that's just, yeah, it's fascinating.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive, the size of this economy. And it all starts right with data breaches. I mean, right, the data breaches feed that entire wheel chip of here's credentials, here's kits, we'll show you how to do it. And then and this is the other piece to it, well, in order to keep this well-oiled economy going, right, you need a massive infrastructure behind it. And lo and behold, right, this is a well organized crime syndicate that is going on. I mean, this is our modern day mafia, if you will, right? Of today.
Yeah, it still befuddles me how these groups can be so well organized and using the exact same resources that legitimate businesses are using, and the hyperscalers and other people where all these resources are hosted together haven't figured out a way to isolate the the malicious groups and just put them out of business. But we haven't. It's kind of like money laundering in banks. Like banks see it, but they sort of look the other way as long as they're making money up to a point.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it, it would throw cold water completely on their velocity, right, of how they do business, their marketplaces, right? It's all about transaction, right? That's the number one, right? From a revenue shot side, it's all about velocity and scale and how ease to be able to transact and get
Yeah.
up and running.
And for the people who are investing, huge capex in data center infrastructure and network pipe and everything else, they're only making money when that stuff's being used. So to some extent, you can understand, well, they're not going to focus a lot of their time on making sure that it's being used correctly. Even though they have policy statements that say that you can't do this, you can't do that, yada, yada, yada. That's all legalese to sort of protect them in the event something goes wrong. But it's almost analogous to the discussion that's continuing to go on around social media in the sense that, X or Facebook or, whatever else, Blue Sky, they're just platforms and they don't moderate content. They let anything go and they're not responsible for it. And it feels to me like the infrastructure world takes the same view on facilitating malicious actors alongside legitimate customers in the very same building and on the very same equipment.
Yeah. Um, And then to that point, Chip, most of the big hyperscalers, let's just pull Google out of, they made a massive investment in Mandiant, right?
Hmm.
That that incident response arm of Google, so hey, if you got to think about it, right? Well, if we shut it down, everything, we don't have threat actors, doing bad stuff. What happens to that massive investment we just made in Mandiant?
I feel like we're going back to the 90s conspiracy theories when viruses first popped out. Let me grab my tinfoil hat here for a second. You remember this probably when anti-malware first came out, the knock was the conspiracy track was that it was really Bill Gates now that was writing viruses so that he could make money on antivirus software.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, I know we're getting towards the top, but I'll just show you a few other things. Chip, I sent you this and finally came out. The details
Yeah.
finally came out, right? And I think you've all been on since we talked about this. And again, I'll always state, I'm not here to ding. I'm not here to, this isn't give me glee about, okay, let me trash a distributor. It's more the fact that Chip and I talked about upfront the gold standard of a Cloudflare, right? The gold standard of a Coinbase. How hard would it have been to say, this is what got compromised? If these are the people, you should do these things to protect your identity. Like that would have, to me, given them so much more credibility because that's exactly what Cloudflare does, and it's exactly what Coinbase does.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So your point is that they waited 7 months to,
Yeah,
to reveal the information.
yeah. I mean, we all like Chip. It's like we all knew something bad happened, but no, they wouldn't talk about anything that bad that happened. That's to me the disappointing part of this. I'm disappointed in our channel.
Yeah. I mean, we have both good and bad examples of this communication style and how people take their responsibility. I don't know if you remember the email or the text message I sent back to you in response to this of a relatively small university in New York City.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You said
So
that.
they just reported in the same week a data breach from 2024 with 320,000 people and all the same, personal identity information, that you see listed here. IDs and addresses and telephone numbers and social security numbers, everything under the sun. And they're releasing this more than a year and a half after the evolution of the incident, and that when they became aware of it. It's crazy. And the other thing, and I don't understand, is how does a small university with an enrollment of, I don't know, like 4,000 people a year, how do they wind up with that kind of data at the depth of 320,000 people? Like, what else is going on there that, is it research studies? Like, how does that even get collected?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. It could have been research. Yeah. Great. It probably was. You probably just nailed it though, Chip. It was research studies and, you know, more than likely.
yep. And you just brought us full circle all the way back to the discussion in the LastPass breach is, well, how do they decide who to target? It all starts with these big credential theft, or not credential theft, but identity theft breaches, and everybody knows everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. And as we know, SafePay said they came out and said we have, I don't know, something like 3.2 terabytes or something like that of data. Well, obviously, they do have 3.2 terabytes
Who
probably of
did you
data.
say? SafePay?
Say it was SafePay.
Yeah. One of the best names ever. It's like the Affordable Care Act.
So
Does everybody
anyway,
know who SafePay is? I'm scanning the chat to see if anyone says
Do
no.
not.
Okay, so SafePay, for anybody who doesn't remember the name or hasn't heard the name, is a hacking organization that specializes in ransomware. and and they call themselves SafePay because they want their victim to feel like, oh well, these guys will honor their commitments and we can take their word for it. And they really are not going to disclose our government if our data if we pay them because they're SafePay. They make themselves sound like good guys. It's the ultimate oxymoron in an organized hacking group to actually name themselves like, it's Bambi and Thumper. We're just here to collect a little money. I just find that ironic and humorous.
crazy.
Code of ethics.
Yeah, code of ethics. So you're right, Andrew. It's a mafia. Isn't that how the mafia operated? Pay
Yeah.
us protection money?
Yep. Yep. Well, okay. So another week. We got next week. What do we want to do the week of Right of Boom, Chip, knowing we've got a large contingent people out?
Does Reddit Boom go all the way till Friday?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking we probably skip Reddit Boom week.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
we'll do
could
it
do it
there.
live from Reddit Boom.
We could do it at Chip's at your booth, Ben.
Like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Would you be up for that, Andrew?
Let's
We
see.
could we could literally do a live stream of the SASE call from Reddit Boom.
Let's see. I'm just bummed James Babiak is not coming to Right of Boom, James. That would have made it all worthwhile, bud.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be on a cruise ship.
Well, geez. Excuses, James. Have
On
a
a
great
cruise. Nice.
Where are you headed, James? Where? Caribbean
Uh,
or
yeah, Disney cruise. Just it's like a 5-day one to the Caribbean.
nice. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yeah, so let me look at the schedule. That would be 10 a.m. on Thursday. Ooh, everything's main stage right then. So it would be hard for me. But if Ben wanted to do it, for sure.
All right, we'll think about that. Maybe I guess we can't do a Davos style coverage of the main stage event because that would I don't know, maybe that would be good for Ride Boom. Maybe that would actually pump up next year's drivers. You'd have to think about whether or not you wanted that. Ben could be the reporter on the ground, or we could sit in a fake booth behind us with our coats on, like we're out in the cold, and talk about the proceedings and just do a live stream riff.
I like it.
All right,
Well, we'll talk about it when we get there, Chip.
sounds good.
All right. All right, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a
Andrew.
fantastic week.
See you,
Stay
everybody.
safe, guys.
Peace.